Every Jesus in all religions explained Christianity. Jesus of Nazareth stands at the heart of Christianity, not just as a teacher, but as the foundation of faith itself. His story begins in Roman-occupied Judea around the 1st century, where he was born into a Jewish family and raised under Jewish law. He preached love, forgiveness, humility, and repentance, speaking directly to the poor, the sick, and the rejected. His words challenged religious authorities and exposed hypocrisy, which quickly made him dangerous. Around 30 to 33 CE, Jesus was arrested and crucified under Roman governor Pontius Pilate. To the world, it looked like the end. To Christians, it was the beginning. Christianity teaches that Jesus willingly died to atone for humanity's sins and rose from the dead 3 days later. This resurrection transformed frightened followers into bold witnesses who spread his message across the Roman Empire, often at the cost of their lives. As centuries passed, Christianity grew from an outlawed faith into a global religion. Jesus became known as the Son of God, God incarnate, fully divine and fully human. His life reshaped calendars, laws, art, and entire civilizations. Yet debates about his nature, how God could become man, continue even today. For Christians, salvation is found not through law or ritual, but through faith in Jesus himself. He is not merely remembered, he is worshipped. If Jesus was truly God walking among humans, what does that demand from those who claim to follow him? Judaism. Before Jesus was a Christian figure, he lived and died as a Jew. He was born into Jewish tradition, studied Jewish law, and preached inside Jewish society during a time of Roman occupation and religious tension. In Judaism, Jesus is not rejected out of hostility, but because he did not fulfill the expected role of the Messiah. Jewish belief teaches that the Messiah would bring global peace, restore Israel, rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, and unite humanity under God's law. Jesus' execution, the continued suffering of Jews, and the absence of world peace meant those prophecies remained unfulfilled. As a result, Judaism does not accept Jesus as the Messiah or divine. Historically, Jesus is often seen as a Jewish teacher or preacher who challenged religious authorities. His crucifixion is viewed as a political execution by Rome, not a divine sacrifice. Over centuries, Jewish communities also suffered greatly under Christian rule, which further shaped their careful distinction between Jewish belief and Christian theology. In Judaism, God is absolute, indivisible, and beyond human form. The idea of God becoming human directly conflicts with Jewish monotheism. Respect for Jesus as a historical figure may exist, but worship does not. If the Messiah was meant to change the world itself, not just individual hearts, can belief alone fulfill ancient promises? Islam. In Islam, Jesus, known as Isa ibn Maryam, is one of the most honored figures in the Quran. His story begins with a miracle, the virgin birth. Mary, chosen and purified by God, gives birth to Jesus without a father, a sign of divine power. As a child, Jesus speaks to defend his mother. As an adult, he performs miracles, healing the blind, curing lepers, and even raising the dead, all by God's permission. Yet Islam draws a clear boundary. Jesus is not God, not the Son of God, and not divine. Worship belongs only to Allah. To Muslims, associating partners with God is the greatest sin, and this includes elevating Jesus to divinity. Instead, Jesus is a prophet, one of the greatest, sent to guide the children of Israel. Islam also teaches that Jesus was not crucified. According to the Quran, God saved him, and it only appeared as though he was killed. Jesus was raised up and will return near the end of time to restore justice, defeat falsehood, and affirm true monotheism. This makes Jesus uniquely important in Islamic theology. No other prophet is promised a return. Muslims respect him deeply, but reject worship of him. Why would a faith so strict about one God still give Jesus such an extraordinary role in the end of history? Hinduism. Hinduism has no single authority or doctrine about Jesus, yet his presence is felt deeply within Hindu philosophical thought. When Christianity reached India, Many Hindu scholars observed similarities between Jesus' life and ancient spiritual ideals. His renunciation of wealth, compassion for the suffering, and willingness to sacrifice himself reflected the path of a realized soul. Some Hindus view Jesus as a great guru, a spiritually awakened teacher who understood divine truth. Others compare him to an avatar, a divine manifestation sent to guide humanity during a time of moral decline. His teachings about love and detachment resonated with the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishadic wisdom. There are also long-standing questions about the missing years of Jesus' life between childhood and ministry. Some traditions speculate that Jesus may have traveled east, learning from yogis and mystics, though this remains unproven. Hinduism does not require rejecting Jesus, nor does it require worshiping him. Truth is seen as universal, appearing in many forms across time and cultures. If divine wisdom appears again and again in different lands, is it meant to divide humanity or remind it of a shared source? Buddhism. Buddhism does not revolve around God, yet Jesus fits surprisingly well within its moral framework. Buddhists often view Jesus as an enlightened being, someone who overcame ego, desire, and hatred. His teachings on forgiveness, humility, and compassion mirror the Eightfold Path and the concept of loving kindness. Jesus' acceptance of suffering without revenge reflects deep spiritual mastery. Where Christianity emphasizes salvation through Christ, Buddhism focuses on liberation from suffering. Yet both paths value inner transformation. Buddhism does not worship Jesus, nor does it debate his divinity. Instead, it observes his actions. His calm in the face of death, refusal to respond with violence, and concern for others even while suffering are seen as marks of awakening. If enlightenment is freedom from ego and attachment, did Jesus reach that state long before the word existed? Sikhism. Sikhism emerged in the 15th century in a world divided by religious conflict. Its teachings reject exclusivity and emphasize one universal God, equality, service, and truth. Within this worldview, Jesus is often respected as a courageous spiritual teacher who stood against injustice. Sikh thought does not accept Jesus as God, but honors his sacrifice, humility, and devotion to truth. Salvation is not tied to one prophet or religion, but to living righteously and remembering God. Sikhism teaches that no single faith owns divine truth. In that sense, Jesus belongs to humanity, not an institution. If truth is universal, should it ever be claimed by one group alone? Final viral question. One man, 6 religions, countless interpretations. If Jesus means something different to everyone, what does he mean to you?